Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Psychic Medium Natasha, and this is a very highly brought up topic. Spiritual awakenings and ascension. They pretty much go hand in hand. I'm always getting emails and messages, and it's always being brought up in client sessions, so I decided I finally wanted to make a video about this for you guys. So if you're interested in learning more, please keep watching because we're going to discuss what is a spiritual awakening? What are the stages of that? What can you expect to experience with that, which is pretty much ascension, and what's the symptoms of that and all of that. So if you're interested in learning about awakenings and ascension, then please keep watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, you guys, so you can show me that you like this content and to give me your support. And don't forget to subscribe so that you guys don't miss out on my free, informative spiritual content. But that being said, let's just move right on into this video. But don't forget, you guys, anything that I am discussing in this video, you can find typed out notes about this stuff in the description box of this video. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns about awakenings or ascension, you can of course just comment down below and I'll be happy to respond. But let's move right on into this. So I first want to talk about spiritual awakenings. There's different things that can cause a spiritual awakening, but to be simple about what it is, essentially, a spiritual awakening is basically a shift or change or expansion in your consciousness, your mind, and your energy. So there's different things that can cause a spiritual awakening, but it's basically you are in one reality and you have expanded or broke from that into a new one. And I'm going to discuss more in detail about the causes of a spiritual awakening because there's definitely stages to this process. So I'm going to share the stages of awakening based on what I have experienced and what I have seen for myself from helping others and working with spirit and going through the process myself. I do want you guys to understand that you can absolutely experience multiple awakenings in your life, because you have to understand we are here to grow and expand in life. That's not meant for way after life. We're meant to do this in life. We're meant to grow and evolve and develop ourselves. And every time that you do that, you're essentially leveling up and you're awakening into a new reality for yourself. So we're going to be talking about the stages of awakening. And like I said, there's 9 different stages. Stage number 1 is the catalyst or the shift itself. Now, this is pretty much like the beginning of the shift, the actual awakening itself, the beginning of that, the spark. And there's different things that can happen to make you have a shift. This could be a conscious decision for yourself, like I just can't deal with this no more, whether that's from suffering or whatever that may be. You're making the conscious decision of, I don't know what's next or what's beyond this, but I just can't do this specifically anymore, this reality. And that can cause you to awaken or shift. You also can have an unfolding of events that just happen and it causes a shift within yourself to want change or want more for yourself, which could spark a awakening. Or it could be a very specific event that happened to you that just changed everything for you. And this could be a few different things. This could be a near-death experience for yourself. This could be a death of a loved one. This could be a birth of a child, or this could be you receiving healing for yourself, like either maybe hypnosis or receiving some type of energy healing like Reiki or sound bath. There's various means these days, but those are typically some of the ways that you would expect to have a shift or awakening, a change for yourself. So I hope that gives you a better idea about what a spiritual awakening is. The next stage of a spiritual awakening is the dark night of the soul. Okay, after the change happens, we usually come into dark night of the soul, and that basically means You are going inward into yourself and reaching the deepest shadows within. And, when you're experiencing this will make you feel like you're very lost. You feel very overwhelmed with your emotions. You feel very heavy. And you're basically like feeling like at your lowest point. That's why it's called the dark night of the soul. And you could reside there for a while. But the dark night of the soul is basically you going inward and you are confronting yourself. Now, the next stage of the spiritual awakening, after the shift has happened and you are going within in your dark moment, this is usually the next stage is purging and processing. So this is basically where you are sitting with yourself and you are pretty much evaluating, what makes sense for me, what does not resonate, or what no longer fits, what's serving you, what's not. You're literally processing your feelings and emotions and trying to understand if you have any attachments that are weighing you down. This is just where you're really doing the heavy inner work within yourself, which comes after the dark night of the soul. The next stage after purging and processing, so you shift, you go within, dark night of the soul, you're processing all that. Next is the journey of discovery. Now, this is usually when you start having this happens after the purging and processing. You evaluated what no longer works. You're beginning to let go. Once you've removed all that is not of you, you're starting to get clarity on, well, I know what does resonate with me. I feel really drawn with this. So this is more so of the period or stage where you are coming to terms of acceptance with yourself and understanding, what really is aligned for you and that usually comes after removing what is not. So the journey of discovery is more so of you becoming in tune with what actually is for you and what resonates, what is aligned, and knowing what lights you up, what inspires you, things like that, for example. Okay, the next stage after the journey of discovery is planting seeds. Now, planting seeds is the stage where after you're done discovering what is for you, you're beginning to take the inspired action to pursue those things that you feel are for you or what you are feeling very drawn or inspired to do or to pursue. So this is where you're actually starting to take inspired action. That's what planting seeds. So you're literally starting to take the small steps to do the new. The next stage after planting the seeds is surrender. And this could be a difficult stage for some people depending on where you are in your life and what you're shifting from, because surrender requires you to relinquish control. It's where you are giving up control of, I need to be logical and strategic. I got to make sure I'm hustling or making this happen. Like that. That's not what surrender is. Surrender of the awakening process is, I'm choosing to not force anything. I trust that what is for me will happen or will come to me. I won't miss it. And I'm just going to allow myself to flow into this change and allow things to just be. So you're pretty much letting go of control and trusting the process that spirit, your spirit guide team, your ancestors are leading you towards this new change for yourself. So surrender, there is no logic, there is no strategy. This is a completely feeling and being and experiencing for yourself. So that's what surrender requires, is for you to let go, have no attachment, and trusting that you are flowing, you are in alignment to where you are supposed to be in divine timing. Now, after surrender, which sometimes you can expect some hesitancy on your part, even if you logically know the change is best for you, you could have emotions that are, saying, I feel this way, but I know it's better for me if I let go. Sometimes that will come up before the surrender, so don't rush these stages, okay? After surrender is stage 7, embodiment practice. So embodiment practice is where you're finally starting to become in sync or you're starting to become in tune with this new version of you. So you see, through the awakening, you are shifting, then you coming in dark night of the soul, going within, processing and letting go, discovering what is for you, planting the seeds, taking inspired action, letting go of control. And then the embodiment practice is where you're finally given space for this new version of you. So after you are starting to surrender and pursue all these new things, you are starting to realize that you are not the person that you were before this shift or change happened for you. And this is where you are not only coming to the acceptance of that, but you are recalibrating from that. You are settling into these new vibrations. And that could take time for you to embody for yourself, because that means you are becoming, given space to this new version. And that takes time for you to understand who you are, or to feel that out and to practice that. Now, after embodiment practice, the next stage, stage 8, is reintegration with the soul. Now, reintegration with the soul is basically after you are given space for this new version of you that has came about. You are starting to align mind, heart, and body. You're becoming all balanced with these new energies. You're integrating this with who you are in the essence of who you are, from this new space. So basically, reintegration from the soul is after you have shifted and accepted this new version of you, you are pretty much adding that or collaborating with all aspects of yourself, which ideally would be more like inner child, shadow, ego, higher self, and then this new version of you. Now, the last stage of spiritual awakening is rebirth. And this is where you are the fully recognized new version of yourself, and you are just in a new reality. And typically when you're in a new reality, it's sort of like quantum jumping, where it's easier for you to manifest and for you to attract new opportunities, because you're becoming magnetic. You're in your authentic truth. You're embodying your truth. You essentially shed all these layers to become more of who you are in your actual essence, in your truth, in your authenticity. You are claiming your uniqueness, your talents, and your strengths, and your abilities, and you're choosing to live out this new reality in this new version of you. So those are the stages of a spiritual awakening. Sometimes you could go back and forth between different stages if you do have some resistance, or if you're, have some self-sabotaging, but those are typically the stages of what you can expect through the process of an awakening. Now, throughout the spiritual awakening process, you could be going through ascension symptoms, and ascension symptoms is what we're talking about next, because they are what you can expect with an awakening. So ascension symptoms are basically things that you would experience as you're going through the awakening process. So think of ascension sort of like an energetic upgrade, where you are literally recalibrating in your energy, your mind, and in your body, your DNA. And from the shifting, because you're shifting vibrationally, you're also affecting your DNA, your mind, your energy. So that can make you experience various things with your body and your mind and your energy. So that's what I'm going to talk about, because when you're going through these different stages, you could experience these symptoms, and that's what I'm going to discuss. And like I said, all of this information will be in the description box. So this is what you can expect to experience throughout the awakening process, but I will call this ascension symptoms. This is pretty much you getting your energetic upgrade from the awakening process, and that just happens because you are shifting and physically, mentally, and energetically. So you could expect to experience headaches or tingling on your crown, or sometimes pressure there. And this happens from you opening your crown, usually, or becoming more heightened. You could have ringing ears, and sometimes that happens because you're developing your clairaudience, your clear intuitive hearing, where you're becoming more sensitive and fine-tuned to the energies around you. You could also have throat irritation, so you could be like coughing or feel the need to clear your throat more. You could have heart palpitations. I experience this one a lot, especially if you are shifting into receiving and flow. Your heart has to open. So this can cause your heart to like suddenly flutter sometimes, or you could have like your heart racing randomly, but then it'll settle back down and you'll just be sitting on the couch, and you're thinking, I didn't feel anxiety. Why am I, so it's just your heart adjusting in vibration and frequency. You could also feel very restless and have trouble sleeping. This definitely happens with me with my ascension. It's temporary, but it happens. You could also experience a lot of vivid dreams, and this could be for various reasons, but the vivid dreams could either be lucid or they're just very, very vivid. So it just varies upon your sensitivity and the person and case to case. Typically, you will also feel fatigued, and this means you're tired regardless of how much you were sleeping. And that's just because you are, again, shifting in your vibration, your energy, you're expanding your mind. And that's just, we're in the physical plane. This is the densest reality in the universe. So, it takes a lot more time and layers to shift this physical vessel. So usually you will be tired, and usually you'll be tired for like weeks or however long until your body adjusts to a new frequency and you're accustomed to that new frequency. Here's a big one. Food intolerance for certain foods. And this means that suddenly you had a spiritual awakening and suddenly you're like, I cannot eat burgers no more. I feel like they taste differently and my body just rejects them. Like, that's like an example. That didn't happen to me, but sometimes I hear certain things similar to that. And that's just because when you raise vibration, your body and your mind and your energy cannot tolerate things that you had before, because you're at a new vibration. So you do have to listen to your body and listen to your energy, because you won't be able to tolerate, associate, and engage or pour energy into the same things as before, because you're shifting in vibration. You're not that person no more. So that also deals with food as well as relationships. You also could experience a lot of nausea, and that comes and goes. It doesn't mean you're pregnant or sick. Of course, listen to your body and go to a doctor. I'm not a health professional, but nausea usually happens with the ascension because your stomach is all over the place. Even your appetite could be impacted. You probably won't eat as much or eat as much junk food and processed, so sometimes nausea does happen. Some people do experience diarrhea, especially when they're in the purging and processing stage, because their body's trying to detox or flush out. So just understand that if you are experiencing a lot of diarrhea during your awakening, it's probably your body trying to prepare you or cleanse you or detox or reset itself, because that's usually a way your body naturally flushes out your system. Now, usually with sensory symptoms, you also can experience aches and pains, especially within your muscles, but it also could be with joint pain as well. This just happens because your DNA is shifting, and sometimes you could be releasing either like emotions or stagnant energies that were stuck within the muscles, tissues, or ligaments or bones within your body. So I do recommend trying to stretch, massage, or incorporate movement to help facilitate that process. Some people do experience a lot of yawning or burping, and that's just simply a symptom of like your heart expanding in frequency. So that also comes with the heart racing as well, the heart palpitation. So keep that in mind. And usually, especially for me, you can have excessive thirst. That's your body trying to cleanse and detox and flush out your symptoms. So just listen to your body. If you're really, really thirsty, hydrate yourself, because you are shifting in every way possible. Your cells are shifting, your energy is shifting, your mind is shifting. And another thing you can expect is heightened intuitive sensitivity. So usually when you're going through a spiritual awakening, when you're done releasing and purging and letting go and all that, you could also experience heightened intuition, because you are removing the blockages and the resistance, the stagnant energy that was getting in the way of you receiving these downloads and these energies. So once you remove all that, you're usually more open and heightened, which is great if you're trying to connect with spirit or your spirit guides, but it could be overwhelming if you're trying to connect, if you're trying to process your own stuff and deal with your own stuff, but you're feeling overwhelmed because you're feeling all this outside energy from yourself. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing I will talk about with the Ascension symptoms is you may also lose friends and gain new ones. And this simply happens because of vibration. When you are going through a spiritual awakening, you're not the same energy anymore. You're literally shifting. So if you are choosing expansion and healing and, evolving and growth, but your friends are not, even if they're not a threat, you're just misaligned because you're not vibrating or choosing the same things that they are. You're literally going and shifting into something else. So because you're choosing to be over here and they're not, they could naturally just fall out your life, or they could become irritated or triggered, or butt heads with you, and then they just fall out your life, or you choose for them to leave you, or they choose to leave you because you're just not aligned no more. So that's what spiritual awakenings are, the stages, what you can expect, and the symptoms of ascension. So I hope this video helped you guys. You're more than welcome to check out the description box for this information, as well as comment down below if you have any questions. I hope this helped you guys, and blessed be.